Hello, welcome to Blended Conversations. I am your host, Kay Cole, and today I have the absolute pleasure to be interviewing Mr. Wayne Faulkner. He is an amazing personal development coach. He's an author, but I am going to let him tell a little bit more about yourself, a little bit more about himself. Mr. Wayne, would you please introduce yourself to our audience?
Yes, hi. Thank you again for having me. And my name is Wayne Faulkner. I am an author and personal development coach, and I've written several books. And hopefully, during this live streaming broadcast, we're going to talk about my last book, which is Setback or Stepping Stone. It's your choice. So it's going to be a very interesting interview, I'm sure.
It absolutely is. I am super excited. I did read over some of the book that the copy that you did send over, so it was really good, guys. But we're gonna let Mr. Wayne tell us a little bit more about it. It's a absolute pleasure to have you here. Your journey in writing and personal development coaching is truly, truly remarkable. I will say that based off of what I've already read on my own. Could you share with our audience what inspired you to dive into the realm of conscious awareness and achievement?
Wow, that's going to take a moment. For some time now, I have been interested in a lot of things. And if we step back for a moment, I've had a lot of questions in life about many different things over the years. So that led me to do a lot of profound research and do a lot of introspection about my life and myself. And the more I read and researched, I began to have clarity of vision and sort of connect the dots. So going along that road, I said, well, all of this is coming together. Maybe I should start writing some of this down. So that's what led to me writing the books that I've written. I have to start putting some of my conclusions on paper. So they could be read by others and maybe, be something of interest to others and help them along the path, the journey of life. So that's what has led me to write the books that I've written.
That's amazing. Your writing has been described as mesmerizing and very thought provoking, which is amazing because sometimes we can grab a book and it's just for entertainment, but to actually to be able to gather a book and read it that actually gives you that thought process to dig a little deeper to some even self reflection is definitely needed. In I myself, I personally love very thought provoking books. How do you encourage your readers to expand their horizons and explore new perspectives in your books?
Oh, I think, okay. I had lost you there for a moment.
Uh-oh.
What I do, I encourage people to, the central theme of my books really are about four things: hope, awareness, inspiration, and motivation. So I would suggest to any reader, if you pick up my book, you're going to be inspired. You're going to, gain hope, awareness for sure, and as I said before, inspiration and motivation. You're going to learn a lot, and you're going to have some aha moments because once you read my books, I almost guarantee you're going to learn some things that you probably have never ever considered. And if you have conversations with other people over your whole lifetime, you may not have conversations about the things that you're going to encounter in my books. That's what encouraged me to continue to write because the things that I write about are just not the normal everyday things that people talk about and think about.
Can you elaborate just a little bit on one of the aha moments from your latest book?
Okay, like the chapter on next level consciousness and what you think about what consciousness is. Consciousness is an impersonal state of awareness. Every person has consciousness. And where does consciousness come from? Consciousness comes from God. God is the creator of all consciousness and all humans. And when you're aware of your consciousness, that gives you a whole new perspective on life because you become aware of God's presence in just about everything.
That is true. I definitely agree with you on that. When you actually think about it, you just look over life in general. You can always see and feel God's presence in those moments. I know I've had a lot of aha moments, and the moments I'm like, okay, God, I know you're here. I need you to move. I need you to speak. I need you to give me a word of encouragement. I need to know what to do next. So it's very, very important to be conscious of those moments, and be in those moments, because a lot of times in experiences, sometimes we're just passing through the experience and we're not actually taking in the full totality of that present moment. We're not present. We're just passing through those moments. In your first book, How to Think and Create Success, you introduced a unique concept and process for achieving success. I want to talk about that just a little bit. Can you
Sure.
elaborate on the four keys: think, create, meditate, and journal, and how do these steps contribute to personal growth and transformation?
Absolutely. Again, yeah, my book, How to Think and Create Success.
Tell us
It's a
where we can
small book.
tell us
Yeah, it's
where it can be purchased, where we can find that book. So,
all of my books can be purchased on Amazon online and Barnes and Noble online.
okay.
Yes. The book, How to Think and Create Success, is based on four principles: think, create, meditate, and journal. Now, that's very simple and basic. But if you think about it, on your own, would you have come to that conclusion yourself? Probably not. So, this is a framework that anyone can use to set up success for your life. First, you want to think. You want to learn how to think. That's what that book is about. We all think, but are we thinking correctly? Are we thinking in a manner that's conducive for success? So, that book will give you ideas of how to think. And as we think, to think is to create. When you think, you are creating. Thinkers are creators, and creators are thinking. Then, after that, the third step is to meditate. In my view, everyone needs a basic, consistent time for meditation. That is explained in the book. And then the last step is journaling. You want to form a consistent, good habit of journaling. Create a journal. Write down the things that you think about. Write down your hopes and dreams. Write down your ambitions and your ideas. So, what I find that's missing in most people's lives today is they don't have a framework to come up with a working process of what to do with ideas.
Hmm.
Where do ideas come from? What do the ideas mean that we are getting? Okay. So when you read the book, How to Think, Create Success, you're going to get lots of information surrounding that. What
That
ideas are, where they come from, how to think. And possibly you could be thinking it correctly. That's going to be identified as well. But the key thing is to learn how to think. When you learn how to think, you can create success.
you made a lot of valid points, and being able to identify how you think, identifying those negative thoughts versus those positive thoughts.
Hmm.
Thoughts are, I've always viewed thoughts as seeds, and some seeds are good to be planted, and then there are some that need to be uprooted, because I've always, again, we've heard that you are what you think, and those thoughts play a lot into us being able to create. If I'm a creator and I'm like, oh, well, I'm not good enough, oh, I'm not a good writer, then because I'm thinking it, I start believing. So that's a very good point in speaking on how important it is to be able to capture those thoughts of thinking. And again, we are what we think. Those are seeds that's planted. Journaling is also a really, really good tool. I use journaling myself a lot. And I notice a lot of authors, a lot of creators, we journal, because for me as a visionary, it's like when God gives me an idea, the first thing I need to do is write it down so I, one, don't forget, but also in implementation of those thoughts, those ideas, those creations. Sometimes we get them and it may not be for the present moment. It could be for something in the future, or it could be for somebody else, but it's important to journal and make those, set those goals, get those thoughts and creations on paper. Very, very, very important. Your second book, Setback or Stepping Stone, Is your choice tackles the challenges and setbacks that we encounter in life. What motivated you to write this book, and how did you guide readers into implementing the highest degree of effort and commitment in the face of adversity?
Well, throughout the book, it's it's really a unique book because we all have challenges in life. There's no way around that. You're going to have some setbacks and some challenges. Hopefully, they're temporary, and they usually are. So you're going to need some hope. You're going to need to be aware of what's going on and how you can work yourself out of the seemingly shallow hole you may have fallen into.
Yes.
And you're going to need some inspiration and motivation. So what this is what this book is designed to do, is to give you hope, awareness, inspiration, and motivation. Now, in the book, also, there are lots of ideas covering many, many, many issues of life, many different challenges. And when you read the book, you don't get that motivation. You're going to get awareness and inspiration concerning things, as I've said before, that you probably could not conclude on your own, because the things that I talk about in this book are not things that we have conversations with people in our everyday life. We
Hmm.
just don't. So until you can ask the right questions, you can arrive at the right answer.
That's good. That's very powerful. Very, very powerful.
Yeah.
Definitely. There, I'm gonna have to add that one to my journal. I'm gonna have to make a note, a note for a note for that
Yeah.
one because that was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So
I
so
knew
that
you were gonna drop some nuggets in here.
so that's very very true, because I think in my own circle of influence, and I often ask people this question. I said, if you were to think about your circle of influence, think about all the people that you know, your family members, co-workers, friends, associates, people you attended high school with, college, people you met at workshops, conferences. Think about all of those individuals. What do you have in common with them?
Hmm.
What do you think the key to their success is? What value are they bringing to your life? What knowledge do you think they have? What are the things that you can look at and determine that those things are the key to their successes? And all those people that you have plugged into your circle of influence, are you having conversations with those individuals at any point in your life about the things that you will read from the book Setback and Stepping Stone? Chances are the probability is no. And so that's why reading is so important, because you have opportunity to bring in information from sources and resources that are not common to you.
That is true. Your network is very, very important. I believe is very vital to your success. If you are a thinker, influencer, or entrepreneur, whatever the case may be, it's important that you surround yourself with people that have vision, that are wanting more out of life. If you have people around you that they are content, and again, everybody is in different stages of their life, but if you are ambitious, you cannot sit with somebody that's content and complacent and comfortable, because eventually either they're going to rub off on you, or you're going to rub off on them. But it's all about putting yourself in position for you to further your self development, your growth, whether it's spiritually, financially, emotionally, mentally, or financially. You have to make sure that you're putting yourself around people that are going in a direction that you want to go in. I was having a conversation with my oldest son, and I told him I don't want to be the smartest person in the room anymore. I don't want to be the most creative person in the room. I want to sit in a room with people that I can actually learn and grow from. And him being a junior in college, I'm like, now is
Mhm.
the time for you to really evaluate, who's in your circle, who you're around, because everybody is not going to be going in the same direction. Some people are going to fall off, and even transitioning from high school to college.
Mhm.
95% of the friends you had in high school you're not friends with in college. And as adults, it's the same thing. I've been a full-time entrepreneur since 2018, 2019, and a lot of my friends around me are business owners. Nothing against
Mm.
9 to 5 or corporate, but I've put myself in a room or in environments to help me grow as a business owner. So again, it's very, very important who you have in your circle, in your network. That was a great nugget also, Mr. Wayne. Very, very good nugget. What would you say to someone who feels stuck or discouraged in their journey?
Okay, if someone is stuck, and many people are, regretfully to say, and
Yes.
there's no shame in that because I've been stuck myself at some point.
Mhm.
Matter of fact, that's probably led to me being the type reader and researcher that I am. I wanted to become unstuck. And,
Mm,
I just knew something was different and I knew something was needed.
mm,
There was information that I did not have. Because the truth about it is, in the end, the man or the woman with the best information wins.
mm,
It's just as simple as that. The man or the woman with the best information will win. So, what we are lacking is information, the correct and right information that
mm,
will help you along the journey in life. So, if you're stuck, it has to do with your thinking, how you're thinking. But these are the kind of things that are not taught in school. These are the things that, we usually look at the outer surface of things. And I always say to people, things are rarely ever as they seem
mm,
in life. I mean, you can pick any area. If you look at it, really, what you're looking at is not what really is going on. There's something much deeper happening beneath the surface that you probably wouldn't think about. That's where we need to get to. So if you're stuck, most of the time we zero in on the surface issues instead of drilling way down to get to the root cause. And there's a reason why you're stuck. And once we discover that and explore that, we can come up with the proper diagnosis, so to speak, to help you get out of the rut that you're in. But it's going to call for a change of attitude, a change of how you're thinking. In the chapter in my book on why am I stuck, I go into complete detail about this. And in this chapter, you're probably going to discover some things, as I said before, that you've never even considered or thought about. Because in our everyday way of life and conversations that we have with people, we just do not have the conversations that have the type of insight and knowledge to liberate us from
mm,
so many things that we struggle against, so many challenges that we have. We have conversations that ordinary people have, and that's okay. But when we start exploring and we start thinking about, says, why is this happening? Why did it happen? What is the pattern here? What should I learn from this? What is going on? When you start asking deeper questions about things, that's going to give you a desire to seek out knowledge,
mm,
know-how, and insight and information, which is going to make you a wiser person. You'll be able to apply knowledge, and that's what wisdom is, an application of knowledge.
mhm.
But we're lacking in knowledge. We're lacking in know-how. And those are the type of things that I explore in research, and those are the type of things that I write about.
When you mentioned earlier, the man or the woman that has the knowledge, will
Mhm.
win, and I agree to a certain extent because I've seen in experience people have a lot of knowledge, but they lack execution. They don't apply the knowledge. So would you say that the execution is just as important as having the knowledge?
Well, yeah, you certainly need to launch out and take the first step. But think about it like this: if we were needing to go to New York from where you and I are right now, without the proper map to navigate, our journey, we could have a very enthusiastic idea about leaving and going, but how are we going to get there? So we need a guide, a roadmap
Mhm.
to help us navigate how to go from where we are to the state of New York. So wanting to go and launching out absolutely is important. Yes, because that's the first step. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. As you said before, launching out is the first step. But once we take that first step, where do we go? What do we do? We got to follow a guide, a roadmap that's going to lead us to the destination that we want to get to.
Well said, well said. Outside of writing, you engage in various activities such as reading, of course,
Mhm.
researching, and learning the piano. Funny story, I grew up in a house with the piano, but I
Wow.
never learned how to play the piano. Can't play till today. But how do these endeavors contribute to your personal growth and creativity? And how do you balance these pursuits with your writing and coaching?
Oh, okay. Now, the one item on there where it talks about myself walking in nature, I do a lot of
Okay,
walking out in
okay.
nature. Now, that is, wow, that's like, oh my goodness, that's like my superpower right there. Nature is where I go to think.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Most of the ideas that I have, as I play out those ideas in my mind, they come from when I'm out in nature.
Hmm.
However, to get more information and to really get more detailed, specific information, I have to do that through meditation. But the basic idea comes about when I'm walking out in nature. It's so therapeutic. And learning to play the piano, and I did say learning, I'm still learning for sure. That's very therapeutic and relaxing as well. And that sort of gives me another outlet for my creativity.
Okay.
Yeah, and reading and research, that's just like nonstop because, always I want to gain information. And as I gain more information from my reading and research, I can formulate my own conclusions on things.
Mhm.
And that's usually what comes out in the books that I write.
I have maybe one or two more questions, but what advice or words of wisdom would you like to share with our listeners today?
Well, for sure. Read, 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 and read. Absolutely. You must become a reader. If you do not read, I often say this. There were two guys, Bob and Jim. Bob can't read. He's illiterate. Jim can read, but he doesn't read. There's no different than the two gentlemen.
Hmm.
They're both one and the same intellectually. So reading, everything that we need to be successful, to be happy, to be wealthy is written down in a book somewhere.
Mhm.
But the challenge for most people is to seek out the book. And you can learn just about anything you need to learn in life. It's not hidden. It's just
Mhm.
that we need to put forth the initiative to seek out the books, to
I
read.
I agree. Reading is very, as we learned in school, reading is fundamental. You want to know something, you need to read. In spite of all the technology and audio files we have, reading. I'm an avid reader, and I'm still one of the old school readers. I like to physically have a book in hand to read. So that was I can't agree with you enough when it comes to reading, how vital it is. Mr. Wayne, I knew you were going to drop some nuggets today. I already knew it. I knew you were going to have some good stuff to share with our audience on today. Last but not least, please tell our listeners how to connect with you. We need your social media handles, your website, email address. Let us know how to connect with you.
Okay, now that's very easy to do. My YouTube at TCS Think Create Success.
Okay.
YouTube TCS Think Create Success. Instagram Wayne Faulkner 85. Facebook at TCS Think Create Success. Twitter Wayne 51 72 54 76.
Thank you again, Mr. Wayne. You guys make sure that you connect with Mr. Wayne and definitely check out his upcoming book. It will be released this summer, between the summer and the fall.
Yes, and it's going to be very interesting.
I definitely will have to make sure I get my copy of that. But thank you guys for tuning in to Blended Conversations. Mr. Wayne, again, it was such a pleasure to learn more about you. You definitely dropped some nuggets that I will be sharing also on our social media pages. And some I will personally be adding to my notes, to my notes for me to go back and incorporate. But stay tuned for more empowering conversations right here on Blended Conversations Radio Talk Show.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.